I am Kesha Rodgers, and I am a co-founder of the Ally League, a company I started with a good friend of mine, Sara So, to help amplify and promote and support Black-owned businesses in an effort to help dismantle systemic racism.
Hello, hello. Am I getting the camera? Good?
You're in the camera.
Okay, great. Hello, I am Sara So. I am the co-founder of the Ally League with Kesha. We just started this recently, as Kesha said, to really help support the Black community and find ways to help people be actively anti-racist.
What is a misconception or a misunderstanding that people have that you really wish that they understood better?
That's a tough question because there are several of them. One that immediately comes to mind is that, as I've mentioned before, that products by Black companies are for Black people, and that is that's the lane we're in and want to stay in. That's definitely not the case. As people who have purchased a Black box and received it have mentioned, they're fantastic things that are universal, things that are universally needed, used, and consumed.
I think people believe that the white community needs to help or teach the Black community, but I have learned more from the Black community, and I think they have more to offer our suburban white community. We just need to interface and learn from them and their resilience, their positivity, their community support of each other. Like, just every time I meet a Black person or a Black business owner or that activist that we've been talking to, the mutual aid concept, there is so much to be learned about community from the Black community, and grace and resilience and optimism. Like, their history is so tragic, and yet here they are, like, functioning and thriving in a community that is not set up for them, or a society that is not set up for them. The reason I want to put white teenagers into Black communities locally is so that white people can learn from Black people, not vice versa.
I absolutely agree that there are so many things that white people and others can learn from the Black community. And I also think that it's really important to, one of the other misconceptions is that fighting racism is hard, and that you have to be exceptionally bold, and you have to be really forward, and you have to protest, and there are so many different ways to actively be anti-racist. And one of the misconceptions is, unless you are doing something big, you're not doing anything at all. And what we want to show is it's the small things, it's the everyday choices that you make that make the biggest impact. It's how you spend your money, it's how you spend your time. It's looking at the friends around you and seeing how many of the friends look, act, and behave exactly like you do, and how many don't. And if you notice that there are some homogeneity, then that means that you need to mix things up, because that's really the way that people learn, grow, and learn to be more inclusive.
It's a great conversation that they had there, and it's really a great points that they brought up. The issue of cancel culture and the issue of enabling people, particularly allies, to make mistakes, to step on landmines. I have stepped on landmines for the last 6 months, and I will continue to step on landmines for the rest of my life. And I was stepping on landmines prior to the last 6 months, but I wasn't even aware that I was stepping on them at the time. It is a journey. I have been very fortunate that I have been around people who were patient or would pull me aside. Hey, dude, not cool. And this is why. And I'm like, okay. And I think what has happened over time is like, okay, fine, it's grandpa. And grandpa is learning, and we're going to give grandpa a pass on this stuff because grandpa's willing to learn on this particular stuff. And I have learned so much. And that was one of the other points that I love that Sara made. There are times when I would say to people, if you want to be a white ally, you know what, one of the best things you can do when there's a Black person talking, just shut up. Just shut up and listen. Not listen to respond. Listen to absorb. One of the biggest mistakes that I have seen white allies make over and over again, we saw this happen at the Back the Blue rally, where I get really emotional when I think about that. Here is this woman. She is incredible pain. Here is this Black man. They are both in incredible pain. And they're both, right? They're both talking. And I know that she tried to commiserate. She tried to find the common ground when she said through tears, I know what it's like to lose a child. But the part that I don't think that she understood is, one, it just wasn't the thing to say. And it was like one of those things that if the camera wasn't rolling, if I was there, I actually would have tried in the moment to, but I'm filming what's happening. And that was my role in that particular thing. It's one thing but Black parents are losing their children at a stunning rate. There's a study that we connected to that came out from the University of Washington, studying interactions of teenagers starting from the 8th grade until 20 years old. In that study, they compared white to Black here in the Seattle area, and this is what they discovered. 53% of white people, white teenagers in that study, over the period of 8th grade to their 20th birthday, admitted to committing some kind of criminality, doing some kind of criminal act. Because most people, 53, come on. We were all teenagers. We all did stupid shit. We all did stupid shit as teenagers. For Blacks in the survey, it was 32%. But guess what? If you were Black between 8th grade and 20, when they did up all the math, you were 11 times more likely, so more than an order of magnitude, to be arrested by the Seattle Police Department. Or potentially King County. There's a few miles of unincorporated Seattle that King County covers. 11 times. This is a UW study. We connected to it maybe over the weekend. I think over the weekend. Might have been on Friday, but it might have been over the weekend. It's on our Facebook. And I know that you can find it there. I don't think we put it on the Twitter. We have so many channels. It's amazing. I think it's incumbent on people, and this isn't just, Kesha talked about this as a woman who's Black. I'm talking about this as a white accomplice. I think it's incumbent that when people are trying, and that was the message. It's one thing when people are just, and they don't want to learn and listen. That's different. When people are trying and they really want to understand, canceling them out only hurts moving the whole mission of Black Lives Matter and equality, true equality, further behind. And again, there's a key difference between someone who makes a mistake, is willing to listen to the mistake and be treated like an adult when they're being told the mistake that they've made. And it's a genuine mistake out of ignorance or not understanding, or back to this example, I want to commiserate with you. It just wasn't the right thing to say. The right thing actually for her to say in that moment was nothing. She was listening with the intent to respond. One of the biggest things that I've had to learn over most of 2020 is listening not with the intent to respond, but listening with the intent of just to listen. Because then when you respond, what you respond with is more profound. And sometimes what you respond with is, thank you, I appreciate that, I really do, and I'm going to try better. Because a lot of times, for the Black community, that's what they really want to hear if somebody is respectfully calling somebody out. Anyway,